came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty years lasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine.
Mercy.
This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he shows unto Pharaoh. Behold, before there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land.
And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh put out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. Brother Grant.
All right. Praise the Lord. So we just finished reading from Genesis chapter 41, and we started at verse 21, and I will be picking up at verse 36, right? Okay, so it says, and that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be. Turning over. Be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Isn't that wonderful? Do we see the progression of how God had worked with David? Do we see those dreams that he dreamt coming to pass? That wherever he went, God placed him in charge. He was placed in Potiphar's house, and Potiphar gave him charge of everything that he had, except his wife. And when he went to prison, the same thing happened. He was in charge of the prison, and the prison guard didn't even think about whether things go or come, because they were blessed because of Joseph's presence there. And now, who remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh that he can interpret his dream through Christ? Start with a B.
The butler.
The butler. Praise the Lord. And sure enough, when Joseph approached the throne of Pharaoh, was he able to interpret the dream as God gave him utterance? Yes. Yes, he did. And I love what Joseph told Pharaoh. Joseph told Pharaoh that interpretation of dreams does not come from him. It comes from the Most High. And that is important even today for us to know when we dream a dream. So, what was the dream signifying? Or what was the dream pointing to? All right?
Time of plenty and the time of famine.
The time of plenty and the time of famine. How many years were there going to be plenty?
7 years.
All right? And how many years famine?
7 years.
All right. So it was going to be so grievous that Christ multiplied the plenty, so that when the famine came, they had food to feed their flocks and their people. So Joseph interpreted the dream. Was Pharaoh at that time looking for someone to carry out and be steward over the plenty and over the famine of the corn or whatever they grow?
Joseph,
Yes.
Joseph told him that he needed to do that.
Praise the Lord.
So he said what Joseph could do it. So
And this goes all the way back to his dream, where it tells him he was going to be in charge. And it's so wonderful. Just like Potiphar, Pharaoh did the same thing. He says, you are going to be in charge of how many things? Everything except the throne. Everything except the throne. And that's what Potiphar did to Joseph when he bought him. He said, you are in charge of everything. And the one thing he's not in charge of is who was trying to get him to do some mess. Holding on to the man saying, lie with me, lie with me. Her soul panted after Joseph. But praise the Lord, Joseph had an escape method where he left his coat in her hand. Got him into a little trouble, but here go the blessings from him being in prison. The butler remembered him and told Pharaoh about him. And as we continue to read, we will see what takes place. And also we will see what the dream meant pertaining to his family. Let us continue to be faithful to God, because he has a plan. Just like how he had a plan for Joseph, he has a plan for you, and he has a plan for me. Let us stay faithful to him so that plan can be matured and come into play. Doesn't matter the difficulties that we go through now. God has a plan for each one of us. No matter the sickness we go through now, God has a plan for us. Praise ye the Lord.